हेलो एवरीवन। ये चैनल मैं सिविल सर्विसेज एग्जामिनेशन के या वेरियस स्टेट पीएससीज के स्टैटिक पोर्शंस में जो भी सब्जेक्ट होते हैं उनको वन बाय वन कवर करने के लिए शुरू कर रहा हूँ। एंड सबसे पहले मैं आपको ये बता दूँ कि ये वीडियो मैं हिंदी में भी पोस्ट करूँगा, क्योंकि मेरा मानना है कि बहुत सारी ऑडियंस जो है वो हिंदी मीडियम की भी है, जिनको कि अच्छा कंटेंट मुश्किल से अवेलेबल होता है इंटरनेट पे। एंड फिलहाल ये वीडियो मैंने इंग्लिश में रिकॉर्ड किया है, एंड जो लोग ये वीडियो हिंदी में देखना चाहते हैं प्लीज़ 2 दिन और वेट करें, ये यूट्यूब पे अवेलेबल हो जाएगा। एंड अगर आपको ये वीडियो अच्छा लगा तो प्लीज़ लाइक द वीडियो एंड डोंट फॉरगेट टू सब्सक्राइब माई चैनल सो दैट you don't miss any of the future videos. And before we start with this video series, let us first go through an introduction for civil services examination. So we are gonna see in detail what UPSC is and what does it do in terms of conducting various examination, and what are various services that is covered in All India services, and what are the different eligibility criteria for this examination, and how many attempts are given to a candidate. And in the last, we will see how the entire examination process is structured. So IAS is basically a post under All India services, and UPSC, that is Union Public Service Commission, is a constitutional body which is concerned with recruitment to various central posts through civil services examination. So the official name of the examination is civil services examination. It means when they release the notification will be having this name, that civil services examination notification. And what is a constitutional body? Constitutional body is something which is mentioned in the constitution, so it derives its power from the constitution. And constitution will be having an article dedicated to this constitutional body. That's what it means. And since IAS is indeed the most coveted post of this examination, so it is popularly known as IAS examination. And there are two type of services that is covered under this examination. The first one is All India services. It has three posts under it. The first one is IAS, second one is IPS, and third one is IFS. And the second part is central services. So UPSC conducts the same civil services examination for these central posts also. And these central services are divided into two different groups. The first one is Group A and second one is Group B. You can see various posts. There are around I don't know the exact number, but there are around 20 to 30 central services also, which you can see by visiting the UPSC website. And Indian Foreign Service and Indian Revenue Services, which is IRS, are Group A services, not All India services. So for Indian Forest Service, the prelims paper for Indian Forest Service is merged with the civil services examination prelims paper, but the rest of the process for this examination is different, and educational qualifications are also different for this examination, for which also either you can visit the official notification, see the official notification, or you can visit the UPSC website. Now let us quickly go through the history of All India services. So first All India service to be established was Indian Police Service in 1948. In the British colonial time, it was known as Indian Imperial Police. The second service to be established was Indian Administrative Service, established in 1950, and it was known as Indian Civil Services in colonial period. And the last and third one is Indian Forest Service, established in 1966. Now we will see what are the various eligibility conditions and how many attempts are given to a candidate. So the first eligibility condition is concerned with nationality. So one has to be an Indian national in order to appear in this examination. The second one is related to the age limits. So the upper limit, it has both the upper limit and the lower limit. The lower limit is 21 years. So those who have achieved the age of 21, they can appear in the examination. And the upper limit for this examination for unreserved candidates is 32 years. Some age relaxations are given to the reserved categories. For SC/ST categories, it is 5 years, and for other backward classes, it is 3 years. The third eligibility condition is related to minimum educational qualification. That is, you must have a degree from government recognized university. So there is nothing in terms of what percentage you have scored in your degree course. There is nothing such criteria. You just have to pass the degree course. That's it. And in terms of attempts, there are 6 attempts for unreserved category candidates and 9 attempts for the other backward classes. And there is no restriction on the number of attempts for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes category candidates. So technically, they will have 16 attempts. Since they will start appearing at the age of 21 and 5-year relaxation, it means their upper limit would be 37 years. So they will have 16 attempts. And now we will see the various stages of this examination. This examination consists of 3 stages. The first one is prelims stage, the second one is mains stage, and third one is personality test. Remember, it's not interview. UPSC calls it personality test. The prelims stage has 2 papers. First is general studies and second is civil services aptitude test, which is CSAT. So first paper is of 200 marks. It has 100 questions, and the cutoff for clearing this stage, the prelims stage, is from this GS paper, the first paper. And there is minus marking also, 1/3 minus marking. And for the second paper, it is also of 200 marks, but it has 80 questions. It means for one correct answer, candidate will be provided 2.5 marks. And it is of qualifying nature. It means the marks from this paper won't be included in the cutoff, and you have to score 33% in this paper. And there are 9 papers in the 9 question papers in the mains stage, and these are of subjective nature. In the prelims stage, both examinations are of objective nature, but in mains you have to write the examination. It means it is not of objective nature, it is subjective. So the first 4 papers are general studies papers, like general studies 1, 2, 3, 4. The other 2 papers are optional papers. The 7th paper is essay, and in the last 2 language papers. So there is a concept of optional. So when someone does the degree course, he has some sort of specialization in a subject which you can choose for your UPSC. Some optionals might have completed their degrees in a subject which is not listed in the optionals list. They can simply choose optional of their own choice. And earlier there used to be 2 optional subjects that a candidate had to choose, but now it's only 1 subject, and 2 optional papers will be made from this 1 optional subject. And the 7th paper in this mains stage is of essay, and it will be carrying 250 marks. So all these papers, 4 GS papers, 2 optional papers, and this essay paper will be carrying 250 marks each. In the last, there will be 2 language papers. The first would be of English language, which will be compulsory, and second will be of language of candidate's choice. So you can choose any of the 22 listed languages in the Constitution. And these 2 languages would be of 300 marks each, and both will be of qualifying nature. Marks won't be included in the merit list. Third and the last stage of the examination is personality test, which will be carrying 275 marks. So this prelims stage also, marks are not included in the merit list. So merit list is prepared based on combined marks of mains and personality test, excluding 2 language papers. So this is the basic information that one needs to know before preparing for this examination. One more thing that you have to always keep in mind is the syllabus of the various question papers. So it is very important to know the syllabus because you have to filter out unnecessary information during the preparation. Already the syllabus is vast and one cannot afford to read topics which is not covered in the syllabus, and for that you have to know the syllabus. So this is the end. I will try to post 1 or 2 videos every week, both in Hindi and English. And in the end, if you really like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. The button is right there in the bottom. This will help you with the notification of future videos. Thank you for watching.